just noticed it's gonna say Terrence J. That's what's up. I ain't mad at you. welcome to a special show of the Black Butterfly Podcast. I am co-host Amaru.
Hello, everyone. I am Candace, the host of Black Butterfly, and thank you for joining us.
And we are excited for this show, especially we have special guests for you. He is the president of the Black Firefighter Association, which is One Love, Gary One Love Firefighter Association, and his name is Terrence Jackson. So welcome, Terrence.
Thank you. Glad to be.
Before we start, obviously, we wanted to stay in protocol procedure. We are obviously excited tonight because of some of the things that Terrence is involved in, especially with the Firefighter Association that he's president of. But before we get started with the interview, I would like to ask, do you or Candace have any opening thoughts?
I just want to welcome Terrence to the show and tell him thank you for actually joining the podcast today and letting us interview him. I think it's such a pleasure to be able to speak to a firefighter who is locally in Gary, Indiana, and is willing to share with us the work that he does for our city. So thank you.
And opening thoughts, Mr. Jackson.
Appreciate it. Glad to be on here. Feel like we're gonna rock out real good and have a good conversation. That's what it's about.
He's just too cool. He too cool.
Very.
Before we get started, we want to start with, obviously this is the Cocoon Room. We want to get started with our protocol, and we want to start with our scripture of the day. Grab that, and I'll let Candace take it away.
All right, guys. So our scripture of today is James 1:12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under the trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him.
What does that scripture mean to you? Obviously, I ask you that every show, and you specifically pick scriptures, but what does that mean to you?
Well, for me, I actually picked it because we talk about perseverance, and it goes according to what Terrence is doing. Anytime that you are putting your life on the line to save others, there has to be some type of perseverance. And so I chose the Bible verse specifically because of that. I know myself, there's been a lot of trials and tribulations, and I had to actually persevere through them. And at some point, you kind of feel like, do I keep pushing forward or do I give up? It's easy to stop, but it takes more strength to keep on going. So that's why I chose perseverance.
Terrence, obviously we start with a scripture, but opening thoughts, any thoughts regarding the scripture? What does it mean to you or anything like that?
That's pretty cool. I mean, because it's the truth. The trials and tribulations, once you make it to the end, you definitely know that you're going to you also handle business the right way. So that's something that we live by.
Okay. With that said, this show is special, especially this one, because we obviously, when this podcast was started, we wanted to specifically highlight those who are doing the work in our community back home in Gary, Indiana. And so obviously we're not there physically, but we're there spiritually, right? So when we had information that Terrence was available to be interviewed, obviously we was excited about that. And so with this year being 2024, we wanted to be more intentional with the guests we bring on, especially those who's actually doing the work. And obviously we have the park cleaned up. We talked about the other day that you was actually working that day. I think you said you were off that day. And so we were impressed with the turnout when I reached out to Mr. Kevin Benford. Shout out to him. On the Monday, he got back to us, responded that Wednesday night to say, hey, we'll be there. And so they showed up in droves and showed out. Dude pulled up. He got the tree trimmer and the chainsaw. They cut down trees and everything. So that put a special place in our hearts, because we saw that you guys, whoever it was, whatever district, it was just a whole bunch of y'all that y'all were committed. And so obviously we would not be just not excited to not have you on to talk to you about tonight and talk to you about some of your experiences and you're just not even your life story, just what a firefighter enables and entails. And so that's what we're excited about tonight for tonight's conversation. Um, with that being said, Candace, you have any questions for him?
I do. Also, just the fact that they pulled up with the fire trucks for the children. Oftentimes it's good to see people who are figures that are working in the community actually show up and be polite and be very personable, talk to everyone. So much gratitude. I believe like the sergeant came out, the captain came out. And we were able to talk to them. A lot of times people in those type of positions are kind of standoffish and don't want to talk to like regular people or people in the community. But just the fact that you guys came out and supported, it was so great to see them come out. So again, thank you for doing that. And our first question for you is, are you a native of Gary, Indiana?
Absolutely. Born and raised.
Okay. And what high school did you attend? What neighborhood did you grow up in Gary?
So the neighborhood I grew up in, we call it the Low End. I'm off of 6th and Harrison Street.
You said, I'm sorry, we could barely hear you again. What was it?
It's called, we call it Low End. It's off of 6th and Harrison Street.
Okay, 6th and Harrison. And also, what high school did you attend in Gary?
Went to the best high school known. All day long.
Terrence, that's very unfortunate. I feel for you. Very unfortunate.
Hey.
I would say me and Amaru went to the best high school ever. Best.
The Red House by the water, brother. The Red House by the water.
Nothing. You tell your classmates from me to them. Nothing tops Word High School in Gary, Indiana. Okay, you just
Miller,
tell them that for us.
They want to be Gary. They want to be Miller.
Hey, I can't even disagree with you. I can't even. Hey, that's another subject. That's a subject.
Then somebody gonna say worth the best. Come on, now, really?
It is.
Work is the best. The comment said works the best.
Sidebar, I don't know, like, because I was in that 25th Delaware area, so Roosevelt, so I was around all the Panthers, and I know it's a horseman, and
I know you're not jumping ship.
I
know you're not jumping ship.
Who, me?
Yes.
No. What I'm saying, I've been around all the other high schools, and I would have to admit, just me being personal, I'm probably a little bit biased. Work was the best. I'm sorry. We were by the beach. We didn't have structured lunch. We could walk out for lunch hour. Our basketball gym was nice. Our football field was pretty. Well, I don't know. Did we have games? Yeah, we had games. Well, our football field was pretty nice, but we just didn't get the notoriety of some of the schools because y'all was historic. Like West Side and all that. But even though it's not there anymore, work was pretty dope. We had some good times at work.
I mean, I really believe that all Gary schools, honestly, you got some of the best people that come.
Okay. Well, we can agree to that. We're all here together now. We're one big family.
Thank you, Miss Tony. Shout out to Miss Tony. We love the work that you're doing. We are absolute fans of yours. So, Terrence, one question I was always interested by, because I remember a long time ago when I was in my 20s, I took the fireman test. And so for me, it was just a means to an end because I just wanted to do something different, right? I passed it, but my score wasn't high enough. So I didn't get to take the physical. So my question to you was, what inspired you to become a fireman?
Well, it's a couple of things. Actually, I like thrill, like things that's thrill.
Of
course.
So like jumping out of airplanes?
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, you said thrilling. I just really wanted to know.
Yeah, but honestly, it's all about, saving people. It's actually thrilling and fun. I enjoy what I do. So
okay. Good to hear. So, you like to, if someone dares you to do something, we know that will probably be you.
Also.
Okay. All right. So How does someone who is actually interested in becoming a firefighter, how do they start the process? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a good. So, as far as our process goes, we usually wait till they put out the process, which would be our board. But when they put out a process, that's when we go to like Facebook, in the streets, high schools, and stuff like that. Recruit them
Recruitment.
because we recruit. Of course, you pick the application.
I'm so sorry. Just a moment. I think your mic is kind of going up. You can kind of come closer to the. There you go. Thank you.
That's probably my hand, man. Pretty much pick up the application, do everything. First ability test, and then we go through what we call PERT, which is for. So if you make it through the written test and the agility test,
Okay. I heard you perf, right? Because it kind of, again, it went in and out. You said the written test, perf, and then what was the third step?
Agility test.
Agility test. Okay. What is an agility test for those who do not know what that means?
So agility test is pretty much, I guess you'll say a test that all of our recruits through, or people want to be on the fire. It consists of different obstacles. Like, but the number one thing that a lot of people get hung up on.
Okay, one more time. They get hung up on. Which one is it?
The Stairmaster.
Oh, the Stairmaster.
Oh yeah, you be on the Stairmaster, but you got on the 40-pound.
Oh, 40-pound vest. Okay.
And you have to walk on the Stairmaster. I mean, what's the time frame for that?
3 minutes. You gotta do 3 minutes on.
That's it?
No, that's not all though.
Because I'm just saying, I can walk with 40 pounds on a Stairmaster for 3 minutes.
You come try.
Is that a challenge?
Buddy, come on, try. A lot of people say, "Oh man, that's nothing." But you go, and you got to drag.
I'm sorry, your mic is breaking up. Like you're going in and out. We can't hear you at all. Is that better? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Just put it close. So you got to go. You got to do a hose drag, which is like 150 hose. Okay. Drag that around. Next, you got to carry about. And then from there, you get to play. Then you got to crawl space. So once you get to that, you pound dummy, you got to drag.
Oh, okay. So like a person, you.
So it's not just like one station. You got seven. That's what.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, one of the questions I do have, because I remember when I didn't get to that part, I made it was written. So, but what does your day-to-day look like? You know, but as we prep, remember we talked yesterday. You was like, it ain't even. We was asking about fires. You was like, that ain't even probably like half a quarter of my job, right? So, can you talk about what your day-to-day activities look like?
On the average, you run probably 40, maybe 50 calls. So out of those 40, 60, I would say probably about 30-ish is him. So we do a lot of.
I'm sorry, Terrence, it's going out again, but just to kind of restate that, there's some issues with the mic, but I believe that I heard you. You said there's 40 or 50 calls per day. And 40 of them are most likely EMT calls. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so can you explain a little bit about that? Because I know most people, when they hear about a firefighter, they feel like firefighters are getting called to kind of like put out fires or deal with other things that might stem from a fire. But more so now you're saying that a lot of the training is EMT based. Can you just explain to us exactly what's happening with that?
Right. So, our department is even though it's a lot of our EMS base.
Okay.
So that means that since we all are firefighter EMTs for the most part, we have hybrids. So we do dual jobs. We don't do one job anymore. We do two. So like the newer guys, they are on the ambulance taking calls.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't a lot of calls. We do about 18,000 EMS calls a year.
Oh wow. When did that shift? When did they go from like specifically, targeting or putting out fires to actually helping? Because it both of them are life-saving events, but when did they switch from the firefighting side of it and go to becoming an EMT as well?
So we've always had an EMS division, but in 2012, we had an amendment made. Therefore, every moving forward had to become a firefighter EMT. So with our EMS division before, because I actually came up under that. So with our division before then, it was just EMTs did EMTs and paramedics did EMS work, and then firefighters fought fires. That was just say prior to August 2012. So moving forward, we actually do both. So I can literally go from the EMS call, and if a big fire happens, next call, I could be in that fire as well.
Okay. So we have a question for you. Mrs. Tony would like to know, would high schoolers be able to participate in that process if they wanted to, if they were interested? High school
Yes,
seniors.
they can actually pick up an app, fill it out at the age of 10 and a half. I want to say it's up to 36, but I'm not sure right now.
Okay. So I would like to connect to you and Miss Tony. She came on our show. She actually does a not-for-profit program where she talks with kids about colleges and also about trade schools. So I'm sure you guys can like get together and figure out what that looks like, because she's probably getting her high school seniors ready for college and their trade schools in the fall.
Oh,
So we'll make sure we get you guys connected so you can kind of figure that out. And then
And
in
then,
addition to that, do potential firefighters get to have any do they have to have any prep tests?
so the written test is more like it's just an adaptive test. So it just tests your general knowledge. Now,
Okay.
the ability test, yeah, you get time to practice. We actually give you guide to what the agility test is going to be,
Okay.
and you can exactly what you.
Now, I have another question for you. So, firefighters have to be trained in both. Now, if it's someone who's specifically going to be a paramedic, can they just go for the training to be a paramedic, or do they make them have the dual training as well?
So that's the interesting thing because we do have just paramedics.
Okay.
So a paramedic would just go to school. Paramedic, we usually just do
mm,
currently have EMTs that are becoming paramedics, but we have also like firefighters that have to become like,
Okay. Now, what is for a paramedic? They have to go to school. Is the how do you know? Is that a 2-year requirement, 4-year requirement, or is it just a test specifically?
no. So once you complete EMT school, it used to be they had you wait a year before school. And that was according to our provider, which is Methodist Hospital. But I want
okay.
to probably after you get your EMT certification, which is a national certification, you could then go straight into the paramedic program.
Okay.
Mm.
How long does the paramedic program take?
School work, I say 10 months.
Okay.
But as far as getting your skills and getting national test done, they give you up to 2 years.
Okay. All
So
right.
the motivated
Interesting.
you
I
are,
don't know any of that. That's great. Okay.
Learn something
Uh,
new every day.
one question is that I have obviously because we always have like when they talk about firemen firefighters, right? I'm always thinking of right they're wire hosing the house down, pulling people out, or they're up in a tree saving cats, right? Stuff like that. So my question is, what are some things that people would not expect or would not know their fireman does?
Let's see. Well, I mean, that's the thing though. A lot of people think that when we respond to EMS calls, they don't think we firefighters. They might say
Mm,
medic or that. Another thing is we do a lot of community service, in
yeah,
which a lot
yes, I
of
do.
that everybody has, like you say, running the house with the hose. I don't know if I
Yeah.
say cat, whatever.
You
But
guys are not. You're not climbing trees saving cats.
that cat might do something to you. Yes, they, a lot of people think that we just don't do nothing, but we actually do a lot. It's more like just literally your home for 24 hours, and the people here, so it's all about fellowship with the brothers and sisters.
Okay, so since you said for 24 hours, so what does a work shift look like? Are you guys coming in like, 2 day, 3 days on, 2 days off, 2 days on, 3 days off? What does that look like in the course of a week for firefighters?
So we do one 24-hour shift, and
Mm,
then we're 8 hours.
Okay.
Work overtime is allowed to 20, 48, 36, 48 hours, and you still have 24 hours off. So every day you come in is like Friday.
Now, when we talk about Gary firefighters, so are you guys specific to Gary to put out fires, or do you go to other communities?
For the most part, yes, we are. This is our district, our city, so yes, we do respond here. We do perform each way, just depending on who calls and when,
mm,
and personnel to go.
mm.
Now, as far as like EMT services, if you guys do have to pick someone up and take them in the ambulance, do you guys just go to the Gary Hospital, or do you go to other hospitals as well?
No, it's patient choice. The only time it doesn't become patient choice is the hospital is on bypass, which means accepting ambulance. But we also encourage the patients and let them know ahead of time. So therefore, it's us as the bag because we're not just that protect our
Okay,
people.
so I heard some of that and it cut out. So I heard you say it's patient's choice. So if they get into the ambulance and they say, "Hey, I want to go to Methodist Broadway. I want to go to Methodist South, was it South Lake?"
South
So
Lake.
okay, so you once they tell you, you take them either way. But you were saying that if the hospital declines them, is that what you heard? What I heard you say, I didn't hear.
So bypass is not the hospital declining them; it's the hospital saying that hey, we don't have any more big emergency rooms. So ambulance, but that patient can go by personal vehicle. Now, if
Hmm.
it's truly an emergency, then we go to the closest hospital.
Mm,
Okay. All
okay.
right.
Wow.
Now,
All right. See,
I do know
yeah.
that with some EMT calls, you guys, if there is something that is critical, do you have? I'm asking, do you have to have an escort by police officers to the hospital?
Um, uh, not really. It just depends.
Okay.
Like say shooting or something. I hate to see, but if it's like shooting or something, do it. Depending on how critical it is. Usually, if it's something real serious, detrimental, either you got a paramedic on the ambulance, case. So if you have one in a chase car like I'm in today, you will have people actually following,
Mm,
which is pretty.
Okay. All
mm,
right. All right, so yes, we all imagine that firefighters are just specifically firefighters. They come
yeah.
to your house, they put out fires, they deal with all of these other things. We never realized that firefighters are also EMTs. So that says a lot. All right,
We
so
it's all
okay, I
around.
can't hear you say what'd you say?
So we're all around lifesavers.
Yes,
Right on. Right
I
on.
love I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes.
On on average, how many fires do you think Gary firefighters have to put out a year per year?
I would say we respond to between 6 to 8,000 calls a year just on the fire side.
That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
definitely a lot.
Fires, no, but for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Now you in particular, have you ever been in an instance where, I mean, obviously you're always called and there may be some expectation where you have to actually save someone's life. Have you ever been in a situation where you went to a house and there was a fire, and because I know with some houses fires can come down in a matter of moments, that
Right.
you literally had to go in and do like life saving? Because I know oftentimes there is families there, but a lot of times the adults can get out, but the children are actually still there trying to get out. Have you ever been faced with any of those situations?
Most of the fires that I've actually been either were unoccupied houses or the occupants got out. We do
Okay.
have some jobs that they have went in there and saved people's lives.
Okay.
Names if you want some, we do get some. We do get real life savings.
All right. Now, if you did have to do that, is there, because working in any situation where it be firefighters, police officers, doctors, nurses, EMTs, um, is there ever a time where you feel like you had some like PTSD and you might have needed to speak with like a therapist or a counselor or anything like that? Like, what do you do in those moments where you feel that compassion fatigue from having to go to those severe situations where it might be someone, who succumb from their injuries?
And so we see with EMS, we see D more. So
Mm.
a good coping mechanism skill I would be whether you listen to music or like I say,
Oh,
you know,
support. Good. Okay,
get
good.
peer support groups now, because of who
Okay.
You cut it out.
have things to do, especially if you go through
Mm-hmm.
what we see. I would say it ain't for the weak.
Oh, you say it's not for the weak? Yeah, absolutely. And I believe people always see firefighters and things like that, and EMT and nurses and doctors as heroes, but they don't see the downside of seeing so much death or so many people hurt. That you guys have compassion fatigue and you have feelings and emotion as well, and have to have a safe space and an outlet to be able to process.
Right, right.
Okay.
And I know y'all see some stuff, man. Car accidents and whoo. So as they
Motorcycle accidents, all kind of
yeah.
things.
So
Yeah.
Me too.
yeah, shout out to y'all, man, because y'all be like when I like if you like passing through somewhere and you'll see a car accident. The first thing I do see is a paramedic or a fire truck. And so yes, you are that statement is very true. You guys are lifesavers. So shout out to y'all, man. 'Cause y'all be out. Not that nobody else don't do the work, but y'all be doing the work. So and that's why I'm glad we having this conversation because you know like with my kids, they just see big red fire truck and they see y'all doing dun, dun, and doing all that, and they
Mhm.
don't see the other side of it, right? I mean, obviously, you know, that's with anything, right? You don't ever see the other side of it, but it's always great to have conversations like this so people can get the full scope of what all happens in a daily for a fireman. So again, shout out to you, bro. Shout out to y'all and what y'all do.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh, our next question. What is the rate of arson in Gary?
Man. So I would say uh,
We
You
can
said it's,
hear.
I couldn't hear. I said I couldn't hear you. I know. I think I read your lips. You said there's a lot of arson in Gary.
since I've been on the job, it has simmered down a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think the cause is to the decrease in arson in the city?
I believe so. Quite- They had guys who were legendary.
Legendary arson? Like they just like to set
Really?
fire? This is my first time hearing of that.
Really?
So by them being gone, of course, arson. Now,
Okay,
could
now you
that
you
arson?
said being gone. Now, is it that they like they left this earthly realm and they went somewhere else, or are they incarcerated, or did they move out of state? What do you mean?
Passed away. They moved on.
They went to the upper room. Okay,
No
okay,
longer.
all
Mm.
right. That's I never knew Gary had a legendary arsonist. That's you learn something new every day.
Now,
So
when y'all do inspect scenes like that, um, what like because I always so me I just let me put it out there like I always like forensic files and all that stuff. So those type of shows, the mystery and how they piece together the scenes and stuff. So like, let's say you do have a case where you believe is arson. Who always shows up? Because when they show it on TV, they sensationalize. We have the blood spatter expert, and then the person who was who had to find out where the arson started. What do they call it? The accelerant, right? Where the accelerant was at, and all of that. So, can you talk about not to just get too technical, but like how that happens and who like in the different denominations of the leadership in the firemen who's always there?
So on your typical fire scene, you usually have one or two bad chiefs, safety officer. Depending on the engines, if you got two, you got two captains. If you got three, you got three captains. You got about 12 firefighters. Now,
Hmm.
we have also our fire investigator too. So the CSI person talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So after the fire's all put out and everything, that's when it's showtime for him. Take pictures, look at whatever property we're extinguishing, and pretty much put the pieces to the puzzle together to figure out what happened at that fire.
okay.
Do
And what's
they
the
so
time
like?
frame?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, am I rude? What is the
No.
time frame for that process?
As far as the investigation, actually, I would say it depends on how big the fire was and where the fire.
Okay.
When you have things like that, are you guys? Because I'm sure was like so we have the other side of it, right? We have fraudulent claims, right? So when people they'll obviously set their house on fire for a claim, insurance claim. Do they contact you guys specifically, or who do they contact you know, to like I guess get the paperwork signed that it was a natural fire, like it was like a loose wire or something that happened, or if it was a eye on the stove or something that caused the fire? Do they contact you guys for confirmation for those reports, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we actually do fire. We do fire reports. So they would contact our fire prevention,
Okay.
which is the, our old Chief Brown right there, typing in there for you all.
He
Shout
is. And
out.
so
I knew he was somebody important because he like this. So I'm like, he look like somebody important.
hello, Mr. Brown. But Mr. Brown had like three questions. I believe I remember the first one. So the first one he put, and I wish I know this to be true because I think right around Christmas they burned down some of the local high schools that were in Gary. Obviously, they were already closed, but they burnt them down. So education and the buildings being demolished. Now, are those factors that's contributing to fires, or did someone purposely set fires to some of those school buildings? What was it? Was the last one Tolleson or Emerson they burnt down? I can't remember, but I knew
I was,
it was
yeah, it was,
Emerson. Okay. Now, can you tell us? I mean, I don't know if it's still under investigation. Was that accidentally set, or was it
that was
just
art. That was
huh?
art. Whoever did that was an arsonist. They was cold too.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Okay. And I just remember seeing, I didn't go to Emerson. Obviously, I went to work, but my mom, I think she went there for a time before she went to West Side. So a lot of the people who did get to go to Emerson, they were crushed, even though the building was not up and operating. It's still their school. And for them to kind of just set fire like that week. So we were wondering if it was, something that just happened, or if someone actually really burnt the school down. So
Nah, it's still under investigation, but whoever did that one, they did a good job.
and that's
And
so sad. So much
That's
history
crazy.
with the school.
yeah, that was a big fight. Truly, that
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So Mr. Brown again said under investigation. So that means you guys are still looking into that one. Okay. And then cause and origin. Okay. So trying to figure out what caused it and the origin of it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And then again, we want to know in addition to like schools and houses, how do we teach people about fire safety? Because I think with so much like
Yes.
social media, with social media and texting and, people living their lives. They're watching, all of this entertainment. People have gotten in a space where they're very comfortable. So I don't know if people are really teaching their kids about like fire safety or where the fire extinguisher is in your homes. Now in apartment complexes, they have them in the hallways and they may come equipped with it an apartment, but do people still have them in their home? Because kitchen fires happen all the time. Like, how can we teach people about like fire safety?
Uh, that's a good question. So fire prevention is everything.
Mhm.
We have a program where we go around and we install smoke detectors and stuff like that.
Mm.
While we do speak to the people in the house in
Okay.
regards to fire extinguishers, where it's located. Make sure electrical stuff is updated. Also
Mm.
putting up, detectors as well.
Okay. Now, my next question: how can Black Butterfly help you guys to help the people? How can we like let people know that you guys are available to do that? Because oftentimes, and I know, because I will hear a fire alarm in my home, and I'm so immune to hearing it beep when the battery goes out that I can't even recognize it. I think one show that I did, my my nephew's mom said, "Hey, you need to change your fire and your battery because you didn't hear that beeping during the show." I said, "I didn't hear it at all." So I'm so immune to it, I didn't hear it. And oftentimes people will get in that space because they have so many throughout their homes that they will not change the battery in every room, which you need to, because even if a fire doesn't start in one room, it could potentially start in another. So just letting people know that you guys are available to do that, that they can call a direct number, get in contact with you about the fire extinguishers, about, the batteries and the fire detectors, maybe stop and talking to the kids at school. I remember when we were growing up, also they just say, stop, drop, and roll. I remember that
Yeah,
was like the
yeah.
slogan.
Schools, most
I can't
definitely.
hear you what you say.
And we definitely go into the schools and talk to them about it as well.
Okay.
Do y'all do any um like neighborhood demonstrations? Like do y'all, obviously that'd be tough to come to someone's home or homes, but do y'all like do any like just community uh like events where you're providing safety tips?
Yeah.
Uh
So
okay.
usually people have different events. They ask us to come be vendors. We
Okay.
fire prevention activities. Like we got a whole smokehouse and everything. The kids can
That's what's
go
up.
learn about smoke, learn how to, like you say, stop, drive, roll,
Yeah.
uh, fire extinguishers and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
And
thank
that's
you,
the
Mr.
number.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Brown has put the number there. So if anybody is interested in fire detectors or learning more, Mr. Brown said the number is 219-881-5220 for smoke detectors.
We're gonna leave
So
that
thank
up. Just leave that
you.
up, obviously, so
Yes.
people would know.
Oh,
Um
also,
Go
oh,
ahead, go
I
ahead.
know that. Oh, thank you. I know that you also talked about having a fraternity, I would say, for melanated firefighters. Could you just talk more about that, so if people are interested, they can figure out how to join the association? They can learn more about your cause. They can learn more about if you guys are doing things in the community. So please tell us about it.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm the president of. I'm the president of the Gary chapter. It's called International Association of Black Professional Firefighters. They also have EMS in there. They also have dispatching. So pretty much we are international, as you can tell. We have different chapters throughout the country. Like I
Mm,
said, so like a frat. A lot of people was confusing it with being a union at first. They're like, "Oh man, you trying to come in and create a new union?" I'm like, "No, we're not doing that."
right.
Everybody who actually has a chapter like nonprofit, so it's more community based. Like I know one is in Indianapolis, right? You all are in Indianapolis.
I'm in Indianapolis, and I will say this: the firefighters were at the Indiana Black Expo last year in July, and I had a booth, and they did such a terrific job. They were there, they were present, they were nice. I mean, they did like popcorn and ice cream because they were raising money. But just to actually see them out there in their nice, crisp uniforms, they look well put together. They were polite. The line was constantly long. Plus, It was men and women there, and they all looked really good. So everybody just kept going. It doesn't matter who it was, and just to see their presence there, it was super excellent. So I just want to throw that plug out there.
So the Indianapolis Black Firefighters Association, they have one. Then in Milwaukee, you got the Milwaukee Firefighters. They also have one as well.
Okay.
Like I said, you got them throughout the country, and it's just great. Like I said, it started around 1970 with a group of guys out on the East
Mm.
Coast, and then it just started literally expanding across the country.
That's what's
Like
up.
people see when they hear, oh, like firefighter thing, like fellowship, and it's all about the community that we come from. So every chapter within literally do things within their community. Everybody just choose what they want to do in their own community.
Okay. I think that's really important. Like I said, I've been seeing so many of you guys like showing up for so long. We had people in those spaces, and in our community, they wouldn't show up, and maybe because the representation wasn't there, but representation matters. And now that it is here, I've seen if you guys get a call that you're actually showing up, and it makes a difference because when people who don't look like you don't show up to spaces, it makes kids afraid. Now you see them run up, they'll hug you, they'll talk to you. Hey, how do I sign up to do this? Or hey, how do I sign up to do that? Because they just feel more comfortable because it has begun to be people, or they've been able to see people that actually looks like them, which I think is so important.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like so, with our chapter, for instance, yes, it's in Gary, but that firefighter, Michigan City, Portage, anywhere around this area, they can join the chapter to be a part of a bigger thing.
Okay.
They have a person Gary. If you want to be in PFF, we can help you out with that, and we'll be your chapter. That's it.
Mm.
But it's a lot of perks.
Now, how do they go about joining? Because again, you say it's not a union, but it's more like a fraternity, it's brotherhood. How do a person go about registering or signing up or getting involved with the chapter?
So to just join for the whole overall organization, go to the IABPF.
Okay.
From there, look for the individual membership, and then in that column they'll see where because it's like $50 a year, just to
Okay.
register, and then they will see the link where it say chapter. They can say that they are just an individual member. Our regional director, if they do it within this area, he'll reach out to me to contact them, and then go from there.
Would you be able to actually share it on our page? Because when we finish this podcast, you can go on and type in. I mean, you can do it now. Type the link in or share the link so people who want to join the organization be able to access that.
Yeah, I could do that. No
Okay.
problem.
Thank you so much. All right, Amari, you have any questions for him?
I was just thinking about something. Oh well, so we do have the block cleanup coming, so we're excited about that. So I know you guys gonna participate in that. But like I was gonna. Oh, so the question I had, cause I'm like, I'm a failed fireman, right? So how can like I want to be able to join honorary? Like, can I get a? Y'all ain't got no bootleg suit or something. No bootleg little hard hat or nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying? I want. Cause you talking about the perk. You know what I'm saying?
Got a cleanup day, we'll put you in the uniform.
That's so funny. Now, I heard you say that you guys do community service, and that's one of our questions. Does the Gary Firefighters give back to the community? Also, do you do any type of community service? And if so, what are you doing?
Yes. So shout out to Kevin Benford, as y'all mentioned earlier. President. Usually, like we do bike drives. We
Okay.
around Christmas time, definitely for the kids. Our organization do back to school events, do turkey drive
Okay.
events.
That's what's up.
We do Juneteenth events. Like
Look at y'all. Y'all out here. Y'all out
Okay,
here doing things.
are we invited to Juneteenth? Because we tried to actually host Juneteenth last year in Gary, and But this year we would love to do. I know Indianapolis has a big June 10th event, and actually Amaru actually knows the guy and his wife who does that. But we would
Yep,
love to
James
have
Bell.
one a
He went
partner.
to no, he didn't go to work. Did he go to work? No, he didn't go to work, but he went to Emerson. But I know him through work guys, and so he's been doing it, and that's like 7, 8 years. It's huge, and so shout out to him and his wife because they're
Yeah,
doing their. They also do a Juneteenth pageant too. So shout out to them too. But we want to. So the idea was to do something in Gary. It don't got to be extravagant, just something because I hate when we go to other places like
right,
Maryville, Sherrville, Valpo, right, and do certain events where you can, obviously the most concentrated Black people are in Gary. Why are y'all going out there? Come back to the city, right? And so it also, to me, just personally, it's insulting to me because it's like, but in so many words, we can't have anything in Gary, right? And so I despise that. And so yes, we would love to connect with you on that because again, it's about having pride. And again, what'll end up happening, I'm pretty sure you know this. You don't start having stuff in the city soon, other people start moving and taking your stuff over, and then they'll start having their stuff there, right? And
right.
so it'll look totally different, right? So
That's
uh, just be written and on my soapbox. But yeah, like we would love to connect with you guys on that.
that's the thing. I look at it the more area. So if it's us and a few other vendors, that'll be great.
Okay,
We could definitely come on board.
that's what's up. That's what's up. It's that easy, and that's the thing. Like we could, well, initially I didn't know what fire with the day to day what you guys do, and so again, I always gotta give him love, Kevin. It literally was a Sunday night. He inboxed me Wednesday. We gonna be there, and so I didn't have to pull any teeth or any hair or shake him down or nothing like that. It was, and then you guys showed out, and so obviously my kids was there, my wife was there. It was a bunch of people from the community there, so they was kind of like, wow, like this is cool. And so y'all showed up. Y'all had the sirens going and everything. So and obviously we fed y'all, so that's the perk, right? Y'all work a little hard and y'all take some photos and y'all get to eat. But I mean, it's all good. It's all good. It's a perfect play. But no, seriously, we appreciate that because with some of the things that we're trying to do and move into, it's going to take a lot, all of us. And so, you guys did y'all part, a huge part of that. And so we really appreciate that. We really appreciate that.
Uh,
All right.
anytime. Kevin, Kevin on it, man.
He
Definitely.
was. I was so proud. I'm like, look at the firefighters.
When it
Oh, he
comes
said
to
the
unity,
50th does a nice event at
big,
the city hall for about 3 to 4. Okay.
big on unity. I love it. That's what
Mm-hmm.
everything should be unified. And that's what we tend to do.
So, another question for you. You guys, the firefighters had a gala that was hosted in Gary. Can you tell us what was the goal of the gala?
What was the goal?
Yeah, you guys said. I mean, you guys look nice. I seen some pictures, but was it to just because it could have been you worked so hard? It may have just been like a give back event for you guys, or just to celebrate you guys for the work that you have done in the community. So I was asking, what was the goal of the gala? Was it to raise? Was it fundraising? To give back? To give awards? What was the goal of the gala?
Y'all was
Actually,
like what black people say back in the day. Y'all was sharp. Y'all was sharp with
Mm,
that red and black on.
it was some of everything. That's the thing. Was it a fundraiser? Yes. It definitely helps out in a big way. But it also was to showcase our firemen every day. We don't get that
okay.
to get out and dress up. So that's a good event to do so. Hopefully we have hundreds of more people come this year.
I
Did we
want
get
to
an
come.
invite? Does Black Butterfly get an invite? Are we
Yeah,
invited?
I want to come.
Bring yourself, bring your family, friends, bring everybody.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Here's a question for you. As we wind down the show, what does the future hold for you as a firefighter?
Like
And
you looking to get
that's
promoted. You running the office. What you trying to do?
I like to move up through the ranks. I would all the way up to actual battalion chief or division chief, whatever
Okay.
chief.
Okay. So that's some good. Are you setting your goals in place for that achievement?
Yeah, I mean, like the scripture said. So, like right now, I'm in training. I'm a battalion chief for training,
Okay.
but through a lot of school to get there. Like I went through a lot of classes. I went through a lot of education, skills just to get one man.
Oh, so that goes back to perseverance, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Good to hear. See, it all ties in together. It definitely does. All right, we're going to do our word of the day.
Okay.
And it's self-preservation, the protection of oneself from harm, death, especially regarded as a basic instinct in human beings and animals. In the Swahili uh, uh,
Yeah.
uh, interpretation here, don't let me please, because I just noticed this. Kuji, man, I can't eat. Kuji Hifadi. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you
Yeah,
fine.
I probably slaughtered that. So
You
but
fine.
obviously, when you're dealing with professions like yourself, and because you're servants, right, and that's the part that I love, especially see black men. The cool thing about when you guys came out for the park cleanup was seeing all those black men, and that was the part, right? Because usually when you see stuff that happens like that, it's always the women, right? And men, we're there, but we're not there like we're supposed to be. You guys were there in droves. It's probably about 30 of y'all. And
It
so,
was so nice
just to
to
see
see.
big men, big burly men, y'all carrying tree bunks and all. I'm sitting down, I was like, look at this. I said, I told my wife, I said, I might as well just go sit down there because y'all doing all that. I'm like, they don't need my little 5'8" butt out there. Look at this dude. He about 6 foot. He'll carry a big old tree trunk. So, and then it was cool for the kids to see that. You know what I'm saying? Because usually we're depicted another way. And to
Mhm.
see black men in uniform serving, I'm pretty I could have been at the firehouse chilling, playing video games. Y'all out there. So just to see that I'm always good with optics, right? I'm always intentional with optics and how stuff looks, and that was a great visual to see. So again, I am so grateful for you guys because especially and it's from our hometown. Usually we're celebrating other hometowns and all. No, you're from Gary, and so I'm always gonna give you kudos. So yeah, thanks a lot, man. That was pretty impressive.
And the fact that when they did start to show up, I was kind of in the front as the fire trucks came in, and the guys were hopping out of the fire truck, hopping out of their work trucks, and they said, "What do you need us to do?
Yeah.
What,
Right.
what what do you want us, and what do you need us to do?" And I mean, when they pulled out the chainsaws, I was like, "Okay, they mean business." So
Yeah.
it was just great to see. There was a lot of melanated young men out there that was from the community. They came to help, and just to see the look on their faces, see them working alongside of you guys, I thought that was so inspiring because you don't get that every day. Remember when we were kids, they was like, go to work with your parents for a day, you get to job shadow. How
Mhm.
many kids get to do that now? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I mean, as like in a professional space or someone who has a trade, they really don't get to see that anymore unless it's someone at a Fortune 500 company and their kids get to go to work with them and they get to see that. But our kids oftentimes don't have the opportunities to be able to see that, and they did get to do that. We got a lot of great footage, and I don't know if you were able to see some of the footage. The firefighters got some great footage as well. We got a lot of great pictures, and that is something I'm sure that they'll always remember. So again, thank you for that.
Anytime. That's what we're here for.
All right. Amaru, any other questions you have for
No, I'm good.
Mr. Terrence?
I'm looking forward to April 27th. And so as we conclude, everybody, thank you guys for always supporting. Obviously, we got city partners now, and so this is pretty cool because when we started this thing, we didn't know where it was gonna go, right? We but they, as the kids say, we were standing on business. Yeah, we were standing on business with this, and so got it out the mud, started from scratch. But we was writing down stuff and me notebooks, and now we're actually shoulder to shoulder with some city officials and servants, and so we are very appreciative to our audience for always supporting, donating, showing up, and just supporting us, and so we're excited. With me saying that, we're aiming towards April 27th, which is our block cleanup in Etna. I'm working on a flyer now with some people from the city, and so It'll be out shortly. I'll try to get it out as soon as possible so we can start get some momentum for it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to have two groups of people, one side of Etna, on the other side of Etna on 10th Avenue, and we just clean it up on 10th Avenue. And this is, like you said, way to serve the community. We're going to try to do it, we're going to do it from 10 to 2, right? And so hopefully the weather permits, because we know how weather can act up, right? And it's not summer, but it's a preclude, though. The reason when I have this, a preclude for the park cleanup we always have at the end of the year, which is the capstone for the end of the year. So obviously you guys will be there for that. And so we're excited for 2024 and the things beyond because we didn't know where this thing would lead us, right? And it's leading us in the right direction. And so I would have to always give love to my co-host for direction and vision, and obviously just being a great teammate. And so alongside with that, have meeting partners like yourself and other people in the community. Shout out to Ron Brewer, Miss Lori Latham, those representatives for the city, and also the fire departments, the Urban League now. And so we're having a lot of conversation. And so it's leading towards great things. We didn't help our community in the 90s, right? But we're helping in the 2020s. And so that's the whole goal. And so with that being said, do you have any closing thoughts, Mr. Jackson?
No, I mean, I'm glad to be on here. Like I say, I always like talks. I like what I'm doing. It's good. So I'm glad to talk to him.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you. I think you are the coolest guest that we in this playback we have ever had.
You too chill.
This is just me.
Well, we are definitely so grateful and so appreciative. Yes. Amaru says standing on business. That's the worldly term. And I love that because that's what the kids are saying now. But we actually had a vision for the podcast, and I always stood on faith and I knew what it could be. But it is all about planting seeds. And we all know that you can plant seeds for 5 years and sometimes you may not get a harvest. But when you do get your harvest, it is well worth it. And so I am, again, appreciative to all the people who have supported us along the way. Thank you, Terrence. Amaru, thank you and your family. I want to thank my family, the city officials that are now getting on board, any of our friends that we went to high school with, the best school ever, that has donated, anyone else that have donated, even people who are not from our school, even from like Amaru has a great mentor, Ariam, and she's always been a great support. But some of the local businesses here in the city have supported Jackie. What is Jackie? Jackie is the
chiropractor.
Chiropractor, love her. She's from our neighborhood, but again, we just love you all. We want to thank you so much. If there's anything that the podcast can do, please let us know. We love to partner with everyone else. We will get that information for you for Miss Tony so you guys can partner together. Mr. Brown, thank you for sharing the information with our viewers. And if anyone else has any more questions, you can reach out to Terrence, also Mr. Brown, myself, and Amaru. Please let us know if we can do anything else for you. If not, guys, you guys enjoy your work week, and we will see you in 2 weeks for our next show.
We will see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night, bro.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.